Hey everyone, let's talk tomatoes today. Hey everyone, so this is a little different video today. So I had a subscriber send me some seeds, and they're for micro dwarf tomatoes. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with micro dwarf tomatoes, but I actually grew one, which I didn't even realize I did this past summer. A micro dwarf tomato was given to us, and we grew it, not even knowing what it was, other than it's just this little tiny plant. So I just wanted to talk in general about some tomatoes, and then talk about micro dwarf tomatoes. So I have my laptop here because I don't want to forget anything. But I just wanted to, most of you guys will know all this stuff, or some of this stuff. But tomatoes, two types of tomatoes. So there are determinate tomatoes and indeterminate tomatoes. So basically the determinate tomatoes are ones that you don't really want to prune. Under normal circumstances you wouldn't prune it. So it will grow to normally a set height under normal circumstances, and it will put out basically all of its fruit at the same time, and it'll basically all ripen within a couple weeks, like one to 3 weeks. All of the fruit would ripen, and then the plant it may start to put out a few more smaller fruits, but generally it starts to decay and die off. And those are not considered a vining tomato. Those are considered bush tomatoes. So indeterminate tomatoes are the opposite. So unless you have a dwarf type of tomato, indeterminate tomatoes are vining tomatoes. So they will grow, and they will continue to grow as long as the environment supports them. So they will start putting out tomatoes, they will ripen, they will put out more tomatoes, and they will do that throughout the year until a frost or something like that basically kills them off. But they will continue to grow. They can grow. I mean, it's not. There's no limit, right? So if they have the best of everything, and I've seen some videos where you'll have a 10, 15, 20 foot tomato. I personally have never grown one that big. I have grown them probably at least 8 feet tall or so. That's my personal opinion, or my personal, that's what I've done in the past, and that's what I've seen grow in my garden. But they can continue to grow and put out fruit for the whole year. So as far as micro dwarf tomatoes, there's a ton of them. I did not believe how many micro dwarf tomatoes there were. So I'm going to actually link in the description a bunch of websites that you can go, and I don't know if they're in stock right now, but you can find a bunch of micro dwarf tomato seeds. So micro dwarfs are very small. They can be grown in a half-gallon pot up to a gallon pot. You can put them in larger pots. They do tend to grow a bit larger, but generally, depending on the variety, normally it's anywhere from 6 inches tall to maybe 18 inches tall at the most if they have a big enough pot. So they are perfect for people that don't have a lot of space. They are cherry variety tomatoes as well. So if you like cherry tomatoes, these are something that you should definitely look into. They're like I said, they're very small pots. You can grow them on windowsills. You can grow them on a balcony, on a deck, and being as though they're in a small pot, they're easy to pick up and move around if you have to move them to get them in sun or out of sun. No matter if you have any kind of hard time bending over, any kind of disabilities, things like that. These are perfect because they're in such small pots. They're easy to maneuver, easy to pick up and move if you have to. And you just take them inside. You can harvest them, and you put them back outside. It's super easy, super small, and they're just like I said, I had that one, and it was very cool little plant. and they're very resilient too. We actually had it on a deck, and the wind knocked it off our deck onto the ground, which is probably 4 feet, 5 feet down to the ground. That happened twice. The plant survived and still put out a ton of fruit. So if you're looking for tomatoes and you can't do a whole garden and you don't have a lot of room or even a disability of any kind, I would definitely look into micro dwarfs because of their compact size. And there are so many varieties out there. You get all sorts of different colors, all sorts of different flavor profiles. Anything you would want out of a normal tomato, you can find in a micro dwarf tomato. So I've also thought what I might be able to do too is I'm going to probably do a grow with me series for micro dwarf tomatoes. And what I want to do is I'm going to grow one inside in soil, and I'm going to grow one in hydroponics. That way, once they're done, I'm going to try to pick a variety that's an early fruit and early ripened variety. I'm going to look through ones that I have that Jeannie was so gracious enough to send me, which she sent me way more seeds and more varieties than I thought were coming. So thank you very much for that. And so I'm going to grow them, one in soil, one in hydroponics, down here in the basement through the winter. And then I'm going to probably do a taste test at the end as well, just to see how the taste differs between soil and hydroponics. I'm sure I could find something small enough to grow them in. And I have a little bit of dirt, so I'll do that. I'll give them a little fertilizer and let them grow indoors and see how they do. All right, so this was a little bit longer than normal, but I just thought it was good information to give everybody. Most people, like I said, will know a lot of this, some don't. But I just wanted to share. She shared the micro dwarf seeds with me, and that was amazing. And I know I've seen other individuals that weren't sure what indeterminate and determinate plants were. So that's all I have. Hope you guys liked the video. Hope it helps somebody. If you think it's going to help, share and like and subscribe and leave me a comment. Okay? Thanks a lot. Till next time.